There's a pretty good article right now on Zero Hedge about the people who were the organizations that it said something about international communist conspiracy. But the internet, but all these organizations that were all about masks and lockdowns and things like this, and that people like me were like, this is not normal viral pathological. These aren't normal protocols for viral pathology. You yeah. You don't lock everyone up. That made sense for China because China is an anti-scientific country. they're 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 a communist dictatorship. All socialist governments do something to science. So socialists do something to science that every time. Hayek writes about this, that whether it was the Soviets or the Nazis, they came up with their own form of physics. Yes, they came up with Soviet physics and they came up with Aryan physics. And to weed out whatever, something that the groups they don't like had somehow contaminated science with their capitalism, or they contaminate science with their Jewry or something like that. So at present, what you're really seeing on the West Coast, and so the Democrats now and the liberals are really a movement. They're the college-educated woman movement. But the beautiful part of this is the sexual revolution. There was somebody who really nailed it, where they said, well, no, the sexual revolution, they might have said feminism, but I'm taking the sexual revolution, and really the gender sexual movement has put, sexual revolution put ugly people, gave ugly people power. The sexual revolution, or the sexual revolution gave ugly people power. The gender sexuals are now you should give power to people who are obviously kind of mentally ill or not as capable, emotionally fragile, and are ugly. That's why body acceptance and all that was that was where the left died as far as the battle for science. Climate change was harder to find out that they were literally just using universities and private and nonprofits to gin up numbers that they liked. That was a little more difficult to find. That took time. But eventually it was found out that, especially because of once you say certain claims, people could look into it, and so Al Gore's movie was thoroughly taken apart, where they're like, you literally are showing the part of the evidence that only points to what you're saying. You're not pointing to before, or you're not looking to before. You're not doing what you must do with metrics compared to what. And so everybody knows, like, now that it's the climate change people, they kind of have a point in, it seems like we're in a cycle that there are very high highs and very low lows of temperatures. That's it. That's all they got. They got nothing else. And it's because they don't do the metrics. Remember, everybody's shocked that Trump had no slaves in his family. I don't know why they were shocked. Trump's family came over from Germany. And they came over from Germany during one of the short, I think it was like one of those years without a summer. It was like Germany had, was it like the Rhine froze over or something, and it was a serious freeze. And so that's why we have huge swathes of Germans across the United States, such that they make up one of the largest single ethnic groups in the United States as an actual ethnic group. Most people don't know that because, as Thomas Sowell pointed out, German Americans don't see themselves as a group that should be like politically united. So there was never this idea of Eisenhower, our first German immigrant president. Nobody, no, because Germans have never in this country united in that fashion like every other group has. And so this lack of remembering history is one of the key things that makes claims by liberals to science always something that you should say is probably garbage, and you should just take it as that. I'm betting this is crap. Well, you're liberal, so this is probably bullshit. And so now as we go back over what happened during COVID, now the beauty of this is that you're seeing these people trying to figure out how they deal with the fact they were totally wrong, and in a way that all the pure blood MAGA anti-vaxxers were right. We were all totally and completely correct, all the way down to everything that came up on Mr. Mediker's first two Corona Chan streams. Now, anybody who saw these apparently are still up because nobody can understand what they're seeing when they see it, or something. Like something of the YouTube apparently didn't, maybe they just suppressed it a lot, or they just kept getting mirrored over and over and over again. But Mr. Mediker's Jim's stream, it brought up everything about COVID that needed to be known. Everything. And that's it. And it's still panning out. Actually, a listener to and great supporter of this channel, just sent me the thing about the institution in Texas that was apparently a part of the development of COVID as some type of bioweapon or something along those lines, and was working in tandem with all these people in China. And that, remember, we knew this years ago. This was coming up in articles years ago on the right-wing side. It's just that now everybody suddenly has knowledge. Suddenly it's not like this Gnostic understanding that, well, remember during the Spanish flu they wore masks? Yeah, and it didn't succeed then either. What are you not getting? Like, it says that does it do this? Like it says on the box. But why read? And so so now they're starting to get testimony from these various experts, and these experts are unrepentant about locking people down. They're unrepentant about the masking. They're unrepentant about being totally, completely wrong. Known to be wrong by anybody who had taken a first aid course from the beginning. Anybody who had passed high school biology should have known this shit. And so now you're starting to see socios and psychos in suits with college degrees. And a lot of people need to start really taking very seriously. The only way they were able to do it is that there was a federal government that gave them power to. Period. And so this is like taking the arms off of the federal government, hacking their arms off, is a holy thing. The federal government being able to observe stuff, record data, become a storing house for information, becoming a place where things could be analyzed. That old function of the federal government makes sense. But now that we're getting testimony about how these people were totally wrong, but would do it again and harder if they could, the federal government should never have that kind of power ever and ever again. And until the Republican Party is willing to break the fucking hands of, because a big part of this is a lot of Republicans would be breaking the hands that feed them. And yeah, so they like the chance to work for the federal government. They like that opportunity. They love those contracts. They love that their companies, their friends could get their company a contract, that sweet, lucrative bag of money that never stops giving, the giving tree of the federal government. Remember, the Democrats are more than willing to keep on dealing with, yeah, maybe it's not so, maybe it's a good thing. Maybe it's really good that that we can't really be safe. But you see, if we get in charge of this monster, then we could direct it where we wish. Once they have Leviathan on a chain, they think that they know how they'll control it. Yeah, but all right.